Hey guys, CPT Mechanic here, and today I'm going to show you how to change the oil and oil filter on the Seat Ibiza 1.9 TDI PD. The same procedure will apply to Polos and Golfs throughout. Let's get cracking! Right, so the first thing you want to do is start the car, let it idle and warm up for a bit. About 2 to 3 minutes should be enough, just to get the oil nice and thin and to reduce its viscosity. And while the car is still idling, let's chuck off the back wheel, a couple of bricks that I have lying around. Okay, so with the car off, let's check up the driver's side front wheel. And let's pop off the plastic beauty cover that's in the way. Looks pretty, but we have to get around it. Let's take out the oil dipstick. It can't balance on its own, unfortunately, so it has to come out entirely. So the dipstick out. Let's pop off the oil cap, filler cap. Leave it on there, let it rest for now. And let's go underneath the bottom side of the car. There's a bit of oil leakage and seepage around the sump plug. We'll address that. Let's check on the back side. There's the turbo with the blue hose attached to it. Drive shafts. There's another intercooler hose looking all manky. And let's slide the cardboard and a bucket underneath. And let's use a 19mm spanner to crack the sump plug loose. Giving it a couple of turns. It will eventually come off. And removing it the rest of the way by hand. And here's the oil draining, looking all black and used, but that's common in a diesel. The more soot that penetrates into the oil, fairly common. And next thing, let's use a 32mm socket to crack the oil filter housing loose, giving it a couple of cracks and running it out the rest of the way with the ratchet. And let's pop off the oil filter cap, and removing the filter the rest of the way. And here we go, looking all black and used, but I mean it's doing its job, rightly so. And let's pop off the oil filter from the cap. Yeah, it's not the worst filter I've seen, but it's well used and past its sell by date. And let's use some brake cleaner and a rag to clean out the filler cap the rest of the way. Hitting it with some brake cleaner and pouring it out and giving it a wipe. It should go in the cleanest as possible when it's reinstalled back into the car. Okay, it's looking a shade better. And using a pick, let's remove the rubber O-ring. One of the two O-rings that will be replaced on the oil filter. And that's the big O-ring out. These picks come in handy. And here is the new filter, the new oil filter. This is a GUD M29. If anyone is interested to buy. And placing it side by side. And in the box is also a couple of new O-rings that will be installed on the oil filter. So matching them side by side, making sure it'll fit. Yeah, it looks exactly the same. Shouldn't have any installation issues. Okay, so let's take out the small O-ring first. Let's lubricate it with some engine oil. You're welcome to use new engine oil if you need to or if you want to. But I mean, this is a very negligible amount. It shouldn't cause any harm on the engine with using a tiny amount of old engine oil. Anyway, so the small O-ring goes on. And it's time to take out the big O-ring. This will go back onto the oil filter cap. Or housing cap. And using some oil as well to lubricate the O-ring. Always lubricate your seals, guys. You don't want to go in dry. That's not good for anyone, eh? Anyway, we'll move on from that one. So, sliding the new O-ring on, and there we go, snug and secure. There's a motorbike riding past. How selfish of him, making noise here. And popping the new oil filter onto the cap, so it should clip in or snap in. You can see it's still sitting with wonky. And there we go, clicked in nicely, and should have a bit of a spring to it as well. Then you know it's snug and secure, and it won't pop out. And cool, that's the oil filter on and good to go. So let's reinstall on the oil filter housing, giving it a final wipe with the rag. and slotting the new oil filter and cap onto the housing. A couple of turns by hand. Right, that looks snug. And tightening it the rest of the way with the socket. And there we go. And if you are interested, on top of the oil filter cap is a torque spec of 25 Newton meters. So you don't need to look far for that torque spec. Anyway, with the filter done, let's check out the sump plug. So this is a steel washer. It has been used on here, probably why it's leaking. Someone's been a naughty boy and not replacing it with a copper washer as it should be. So I couldn't get this off the sump plug. It's a bit difficult and dirty, so let's give it a quick wipe with a cloth. Yeah, it's looking somewhat cleaner at least. Okay. So I've had to use a hacksaw to cut this washer open to get it off the sump plug. Bit of a mission, but eventually it came off. That's the only way. I couldn't pull it off. And let's do the right thing and put on a copper washer. I mean, guys, it's less than $3 for a 14mm copper washer. It's not difficult. So, guys, don't be cheap and lazy. Put on a new copper washer when you do your oil change. Otherwise, you're going to have seepage and leaks in future. Anyway, enough of the rant. Let's use some brake cleaner and a rag to clean off any residual oil. And this bucket has served its purpose, so let's yank it out of the way. Still a bit of dripping coming off, that's why the cardboard box is there. And let's pop the new, or the old sump plug with the new copper washer onto the sump. Running it in by hand. Please don't use an impact tool, guys, you probably will strip the threads. And using a spanner the rest of the way. Running it in. And making sure it's tight, so the book recommends a torque spec of 30 Newton meters on these 1.9 TDIs. But good and tight is my torque spec for the day. So let's drop the car. Take out the jack and the axle stand. There we go. Right guys, so straight from the owner's manual, the 1.9 TDI PD models require a spec of VW 505.01 or 507 grade oil to protect the camshafts. The pre-PD can get away with the 505 or 501.01. So I'm opting for Shell Helix HX710W40. And here's the grades at the back. So unfortunately, this is only rated for 501.01 or 505. So this does not meet the PD standards required as specified by VW. So it's for the older models, but I bought it anyway and I'm committing to it. So what you should use is the VW spec oil Special D or Liqui Moly Top Tech 4100. That is specified for 505.01 or 507. Right, so let's chuck in some oil. And the TDIs, this BLT specifically uses about 4.3 liters, including the oil filter change. So the oil is going in, filling the funnel, and allowing it to drain in the engine, and repeating it for a couple of times. So even though this is the wrong oil, yes, it's still a very good oil to use. And in the next oil service, I will put in the correct grade oil, which is 7,000 k's give or take. So it's best to service your car every 10,000 kilometers, or if shorter, if conditions are adverse. So a bit of high challenge over here. Let's see how much oil I can get in. Oh yes, bit of spillage, but it is what it is. How high can you go? Okay, so let's check the oil level. Clean the dipstick, inserting it in, and checking where the oil level is. It still looks on the low mark. Let's just zoom in a bit. Yeah, it's just below the lower mark. There's a little indent on the dipstick showing the lower and upper mark. So let's top up the oil some more. So a bit more juice going in, filling the funnel and allowing it to drain. And getting some more loft on this one. And with the left hand, by the way, let me add that I'm right-handed by nature, so the left hand is a bit of a challenge. And let's check the oil again. Cleaning the dipstick, inserting it, checking it once more. Now is that level over there? It's smack bang in the middle to upper mark. That's lovely. Okay, so dipstick in, oil cap on, just cleaning it a bit around where I missed. And I think it's time to give this car a start to allow the oil to circulate through the filter and components. So, let's give it a start. Right, there we go. Just run it for about 10 to 15 seconds, just for the oil to circulate. If you see an oil warning light, switch off your car immediately and check the oil level. And there we go, it should be enough. So let it rest for another couple of minutes to let the oil sink into the sump. Wiping off the dipstick. Inserting it into the engine again. And let's check the oil level once more. Now it looks good. You'll see the oil turn black nearly instantly. It is a bit on the lower mark, so it might need a top up. Yeah. With a bit more time it might increase, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So let's give it a final top up. Adding in maybe about 300 to 500 mils. Just a thumbs up figure. So a bit more oil going in. And let's check the oil level once more. Lovely. That's near the middle. I think if the car sits a bit more, the oil will level out and will reach the middle to upper mark. You don't want it below and you don't want it above either. That's not good news for you and your engine. More your wallet specifically, but anyway. Right, so let's check the sump underneath. No leaks from the sump plug. All is well. Guys, take your car for a spin. I hope you enjoyed this video and be sure to tune in for much more. Guys, keep well, and until next video, cheers.